Let me tell you something about life. It doesn't hand out gold medals for intentions. It rewards sweat. It crowns the doers, not the dreamers. You see, every day we wake up in a silent war between the comfort of now and the greatness of what could be. Most people don't lose to failure, they lose to hesitation. I've learned this. The grind isn't punishment. It's the gatekeeper. It stands between who you are and who you could become. And let me assure you, being the best isn't a matter of luck. It's a matter of design, discipline, and daily decisions. So the question is, are you ready to pay the price for excellence or settle for the discount rack of regret? All values, whether it's wealth, character, health, or influence, must be earned through discipline. And once you've earned them, don't celebrate too early, because now you got to defend them with consistency. That's the law of life. Nothing stays yours unless you keep proving you're worthy of it. And here's the truth most people overlook. It's easier to get something than to keep it. Getting rich? Possible. Staying rich? That's another grind entirely. Discipline is the entry fee. It's what gets you in the game. Consistency is the rent, and it's due every single day. You don't work hard once and expect life to hand you permanent reward. That's not how the marketplace works. That's not how value works. The world pays you for bringing something to the table over and over again. I've seen people win big only to lose it all because they didn't build the habit of guarding what they gained. They got lazy with their finances, relaxed their work ethic, and let mediocrity sneak in through the back door. When I was a young man working a regular job, I thought a good week of hard work was enough. But the checks were small, the debt was big, and the grind felt endless. Then I realized I wasn't being consistent. I had moments of effort, but no pattern of discipline. Once I made a decision to change, to wake up earlier, study harder, and track every dollar, things shifted. Not overnight, but over time. Aristotle once said, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. That's how values are secured, through daily repetition of right choices. You don't become the best by doing your best once. You become the best by choosing the grind every day, especially when it's uncomfortable. So the question is, can you handle the weight of responsibility that comes with reward? Can you be trusted with more by mastering what you already have? If you can, then welcome to the next level. The grind doesn't stop here, it deepens. Life doesn't give you what you want. That would be too easy. If all it took was wishing, then every dreamer would be wealthy, healthy, and fulfilled. But the truth is far more sobering and far more empowering. Life gives you what you deserve. And what you deserve is determined not by desire, but by discipline. Not by intention, but by action. Not by what's in your heart, but by what's in your habits. It's one of the greatest lessons I ever learned. I used to want a lot. I wanted more money, more respect, more impact, but I wasn't doing much to earn it. And life, being fair in its own way, paid me exactly what I had earned, no more, no less. Then someone told me, don't ask for life to be easier. Ask for you to be better. That hit me like a brick, because that's when I realized if I want to change my outcome, I have to change my input. The farmer doesn't sit around hoping for a great harvest just because he wants one. He prepares the soil, plants the seed, waters it, and works it daily. then and only then does the harvest come. Life works exactly the same way. If you want better results, raise your standard of effort, raise your preparation, raise your discipline. If there's one thing I've learned about success, it's that it doesn't show up at your doorstep. You've got to go out and meet it. Too many people are waiting for the right time, the right mood, the right opportunity, the right person to come along. But let me tell you something. If you wait too long, life will pass you by. You've got to become a seeker, not a waiter. Opportunity doesn't respond to need. It responds to pursuit. Needing something doesn't make it yours. Searching for it, working for it, preparing for it, that's what pulls it into your life. I used to sit around thinking that just because I needed answers, they'd somehow arrive, but they didn't. Nothing changed until I changed. I stopped asking, when will it happen for me? And started asking, what do I need to learn? Where do I need to go? You want answers? Go to the seminar. Go to the bookshop. Go to the library. Go to the Wise. Go where people are growing. Search until you find something that hits you between the eyes. The scripture says, asterisk, seek, and you shall find, asterisk. But notice it doesn't say, wait and you shall receive. It says, seek. That means motion. That means initiative. I once knew a man who said, I'm just hoping something good happens. I said, that's your problem. You're hoping instead of hunting. Life doesn't give to the hopeful. It gives to the seeker. Just like the gold miners had to go into the hills, dig through the dirt, and sweat for every ounce of gold, so must you dig through the books, the lessons, the failures, and the trials for every ounce of wisdom. Socrates once said, asterisk, wisdom begins in wonder. Asterisk. But wonder alone won't get you results. You've got to chase that wonder until it yields understanding, until it bears fruit. So if you want to be the best, stop waiting. Make up your mind today that you're going to become a relentless seeker. Because what you're looking for is already out there. The question is, are you out there looking for it? You can have shelves full of books, notebooks full of ideas, and a head full of knowledge, but if you never put it to work, it's just decoration. Information without action is a quiet kind of delusion. It makes you feel smart, but it doesn't make you successful. It makes you sound wise, but it won't change your bank account, your health, or your influence. You've got to do something with what you know. I once met a man who had every personal development tape ever made. His library was better stocked than some universities. But his life, it was still stuck in neutral. Why? Because he confused knowing with doing. He thought understanding wealth was the same as building it. And let me tell you, the two are very different. You see, the grind doesn't care how much you've studied. The marketplace rewards execution. It rewards the one who shows up, applies what they've learned, and keeps pressing forward even when it's messy, even when it's not perfect. I'd rather see a man with half the knowledge and double the hustle than someone with all the knowledge and none of the movement. The Chinese philosopher Confucius once said, asterisk, to know and not to act is not yet to know. Asterisk. That means knowledge, when unused, is as good as ignorance. You may as well not know it all. When I started putting ideas into motion, tracking every dollar, applying sales principles, scheduling my time with intention, that's when things started changing. Not when I heard the idea, not when I wrote it down. When I used it. The man who keeps stacking bricks and never builds the house will be left sleeping in the rain. You've got to do something with what you've gathered. So don't fool yourself. Just because you're learning doesn't mean you're growing. Growth happens in motion. Knowledge only becomes power when it's put to work. And if you're serious about being the best, you've got to make action your habit, not your hesitation. One of the greatest days in a person's life is the day they stop blaming, the day they stop pointing fingers, the day they say, if it's going to change, it's up to me. It's easy to blame the economy. It's easy to blame your upbringing. It's easy to blame the boss, the government, or your circumstances. But here's the truth. Blame keeps you poor. Responsibility makes you rich. Because when you hand away the blame, you also hand away your power. And without power, you'll never be the best at anything. When I was a young man, I used to think my paycheck was the problem, but it wasn't. I was the problem. My habits, my attitude, my work ethic, that's where the real issue lived. And that's good news, because it meant I could do something about it. You see, you can't change the weather, but you can change your coat. You can't control the wind, but you can set a better sail. Once I stopped waiting for life to adjust and started adjusting myself, that's when things changed. The philosopher Epictetus said, asterisk, no man is free who is not master of himself. Asterisk, that kind of mastery begins with taking responsibility not for the world, but for your world, your decisions, your attitude, your behavior. You're not in charge of everything, but you are in charge of you. And that's enough to change everything. The grind gets real when you realize there's no one else to call, no one else to push the boulder, no one else to wake up early for your goals. That job belongs to you, and when you own that role completely, life starts handing you the keys. The doors begin to open. Not because life got easier, but because you got stronger. So if you want power, if you want to rise, don't wait for someone else to hand it to you. Take responsibility. Because that's the first step toward becoming unstoppable. The marketplace pays for value, nothing more, nothing less. Not time, not effort, not good intentions, just value. You want more income? Don't chase money, chase value. Because money is simply a reflection of the value you bring to others. You get paid for what you bring to the table, and the more you bring, the more the world lines up to reward you. When I was a broke young man, I used to work hard, but I didn't earn much. Why? Because my value was low. I brought minimum skills, minimum insight, and a minimum attitude. But the moment I began to multiply my value by reading books, refining my speech, sharpening my habits, that's when everything began to shift. The marketplace didn't change, I did. You don't need to work 8 times harder to earn 8 times more. Sometimes you just need to become twice as valuable. If you can solve a bigger problem, if you can speak more clearly, if you can lead more effectively, if you can bring more creativity to the table, that's how your stock rises. And it's not magic. It's discipline. It's daily grind. It's effort multiplied by strategy. Think about it like this. If you become the person who can write the code, make the sale, close the deal, lift the team, and inspire results, then how can the world ignore you? It can't. The world will knock on your door because it needs what you've become. So if you're tired of the same paycheck, tired of being overlooked, don't wish for better circumstances. Get better, add value, stack skills, build character, refine your craft until your name becomes synonymous with excellence. Because when you multiply your value, you multiply your income, your influence, and your impact. The grind is your chance to grow into that person. Now is not the time for excuses. Now is not the time for comfort. Now is the time to grind, to push, to build, to become. The future isn't handed to you, it's carved out of discipline, sweat, and a relentless refusal to stay average. You've got seeds of greatness in you, but seeds don't grow unless they're planted, watered, and cultivated. That's your job. That's your responsibility. Don't wait for the perfect moment. It doesn't exist. The perfect moment is the one you decide to take seriously. The day you stop blaming the economy, your past, or other people, and you say, I'm going to earn it, that's the day everything changes. So get up earlier, stay up later, study more, practice more, give more, become more. And when the results show up, and they will, you won't be surprised. You'll just smile because you'll know you earned them. Asterisk. This is your moment. This is your grind. Be the best. Not because someone told you to, but because you refused to be anything less. Now, go out there and prove to the world and to yourself that you were never meant to be ordinary. You were built to rise. Let's get to work.